Rammer has met probably conceivably every major NHL star for the past like 15, 17 years, at least, including Marty St. Louis, whose mother died.
Oh yeah.
And they went all the way to the Stanley Cup final and did not win. But it was all in the back of this emotional idea. So after we all did this like round table thing, and I did this like ab sweep thing, like sucking everyone in for 5 minutes, and then I was like, and then halves and four, and you guys are like, you guys are fucking assholes. It was like definitely. I had everyone thinking like, I'm like, but Ottawa's got the speed.
You didn't have anyone thinking anything, but yeah, fair enough.
I was like, but anyway, anyway, halves and four. Like just fucking anyway. As we had it like all laid out, it comes to Sparling's turn, and Sparling's like, him and Rammer have a minor like Rammer's like, you don't think New York's gonna go far this year, and then Sparling just goes, it's not that I don't think they're gonna go far. I just think that Marty St. Louis' mother can only die so many times.
Because she died, and then she died, and he went on to he scored like 7 goals the next 3 games. Like it was disgusting. It was an absolute retribution.
I laughed so hard, man. That was one of the best moments ever. I love that.
We got nothing on it.
Let's go.
I think we should just use that. We should just start it now. This is it. We've already started. We'll start with that story.
Okay.
I'll start going into that. I don't give a shit. Fucking it's whatever. I think what we should do is probably tell our listeners though about a little amazing opportunity. If they are so inclined, they should check out floathouse.ca. What's floathouse.ca? That's the premier isolation tank experience in the Lower Mainland. Now in Western Canada. Now advancing into the States. What? Oh, can you hear me with the intro music? Because every time I edit this, I realize I whisper that part and you can't hear what the F I say. So what I'm trying to say is this. Floathouse is an amazing place. It's an amazing time. It's an amazing way to spend 90 minutes, 45 minutes, however long you want to spend. If you think that going into a tank surrounded by absolute nothingness and complete black sensations of like just zero sensory stimuli at all, if you think that sounds cool, boom, this is your spot. If you're even on the fence a medium amount of time, I would say to you right now, there's a probably pretty serious chance that I could convince you by doing it if I just say to you, look, it's a fun experience. It actually is. It's fun. It's like a spa for your mind. You come here and you get to like totally just relax. Like there's no one in the lounge right now, but you come here afterwards and you just feel pure bliss. It's so cool.
Remember when the guy from Zoo was here?
Oh, the guy from the TV show was here, right?
Yeah.
You knew that actor.
Because I
vaguely remember you like saying that hey, that guy that was just in here was he was like,
oh, what's it? I
like
can't remember his name.
He was a main character on that show, right? Zoo.
Yeah. It's for everybody though. It's for stars and it's for your regular guy.
Exactly. Thank you very much for the co-author on that ad, Alex Sparling, friend of the show.
You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are so inclined, we think you should use our podcast promo code. That podcast promo code is indeed II Podcast. It's super easy to use. You get 20% off your next float. We are really excited to be involved with Floathouse because we know that it's something that benefits people's lives all the time. So you should check it out because we float. You should float. Check it out. II Podcast. Get 20% off your next float at floathouse.ca. Oh shit, son.
What podcast number is this?
Oh shit, I didn't even say that, right? Because we started pretty hot. Just came in hot, talking about
super
maybe
hot.
The greatest moment. I love that Sparling had that moment with Rammer from EA Sports. So like the lead guy for like better part of 2 decades.
I just want to talk to him again so bad. Because the thing is like he's
such a
the
good guy.
nicest guy.
He's such a
the nicest
good guy.
But my favorite thing about sassing other hockey fans is when they're nice guys and knowledgeable.
Yeah, because
that's Rammer to
that's
a
what I
T.
love. There's no way he's never short of the knowledge that we're spitting at him.
Well, because
he's ahead of us most of the time.
Well, that's the best hockey chirps and the hockey talks to have.
Yeah.
Because that other guy, if he's on the same page, is just going to sit there quietly going, no, I get it. No, that's a great point.
Yeah.
But this, and this, which are all very valid points, and you have to go, shit, I can see that.
Alex Sparling, you are a friend of the show, obviously.
Hello.
I should probably give you an official a little announcement here. But Alex Sparling, Slice TV's own, actually.
That's the only credit I want. Or anything else. Don't say anything else. Slice TV's Alex Sparling.
Alex Sparling, he's a comedian. He's friend of the show. He's a funny motherfucker. And he's fresh back from tour. We love this guy. Thank you so much for doing the show tonight. Alex Sparling.
Here.
Ooh. I got to tell you, this is the closest thing we have to a crew episode that's like not week to week. Like you're not here every week. But
No.
like when you come on,
Clearly, neither is Saavedra.
no, like you and Kwesi Thomas are pretty much the two guys I think that come on the show, and I'm like, yeah, this feels like Steve McGowan too. I like McGowan now
I would
so much.
still love
Fuck
to
Steve
have-
McGowan.
We love McGowan to the point that it's fuck Steve McGowan. Right
We
now.
do still have to do. When we talked about it loosely off air a while ago.
Yeah.
But an episode because Kwesi and I have a super fun rivalry
Yes.
about who does this more.
Kwesi told me last time I had you on the show, he's like, you motherfucking better not have motherfucking Alex Sparling on the
I
show.
know that because I listened to the episode because I love both
Yeah.
you and
Yeah.
Kwesi.
You better not
That's
have
why I love
him
to do
on before me, is what he said.
Well, we do have to have an episode where the two of us interview you.
Oh, I like this.
you-
I
And then
like
a
this a
one-up
lot.
of who knows and loves Jayme more.
Do you think this is
Oh, a
something that
challenge.
the viewers, the listeners would like to listen to? Do you think they'd want to?
Oh, no, we're both stupid.
It doesn't
I
really
don't know how
matter.
much-
At this point, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Fuck it. Selfish.
Fuck it. I think that like at this stage, I'm pretty comfortable with like whatever happens. Like I don't know. We started this one pretty hot. This
This is fun.
Yep.
I have another Floathouse update.
Do you?
Because I was going through because my every time I've come on here just feels like an extended apology for the first time that I was on here because I was a little mean about floating.
You're always like a little, like just a little.
Yeah, but it's growing on me to the point where I really, really, really wanted to come here for a little bit. Like I was just like going through like just overstressed with work and shit like that, and I wanted to come here. And my girlfriend got me three
Floats?
3 floats.
A float package. Nice.
But
Have you done it yet?
No, because I was overworked and it expired, so I missed
Oh,
the 3 of them,
Jesus
and I didn't get a chance to
Christ.
do them. But it is Epsom salts, right? Epsom, that's a
Epsom.
Epsom salts.
Yeah. That's a part of the chemistry. Yep.
Right, but it's I had a bath a couple weeks ago with Epsom salt. Epsom small. I hate that fucking.
I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that it's the.
I had a small float.
Yeah,
I had a small float.
It's not quite the same.
No, but it was lovely. So
More of a flit
like
than a float.
Yeah.
It was more of like 2 cups as opposed to like 2 tons of salt.
2 tons.
But I mean, for as enjoyable and as lovely and as relaxing and as healing
It's
as
very
2
nice.
cups was, 2 tons. Like,
Yeah, do it. It's if you have 2 cups in a residential bathtub and you feel like that's a comfortable thing to do.
Yeah.
I think you're okay.
Yeah.
You're fine. If you come into this commercial aquatic facility designed to relax your mind and unlock the mysteries of the
Then
universe,
why wouldn't you?
woo, I think you'd have a good time. Personally, I think you'd have a great time. I think you'd have a great time.
Oh, I need to do it. Yeah, no, I want to do it.
That's why I think it's important when we talk about crazy shit like this that you are allowed to apologize for things like where you're like, sounds crazy, sounds like a coffin. I would never
So
get it.
stupid.
Yeah, I would never get it because when you say that on the show, I'm like, easy on these guys. These are good guys.
But they are, and they're phenomenal. But it was just like it was so new and exciting of a spot, and like I've never been in a float house before.
I think
and
it's-
Have you seen Altered States?
Jeez, I'll just say it gets a
haven't
mention
seen
like
that.
once a week on this show.
No,
now.
it's only gotten mentioned.
No,
I swear to God,
Jesus.
since I've seen the
Every
movie,
time.
I feel like I bring it up or
No.
someone brings it
that
up.
sounds like it'd be a great sitcom about a couple guys who run a float house.
Just keep bringing up Altered States.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're like
It's
an
a good
Altered
movie,
States
actually.
fan group, I guess, is what we're trying to say.
it'd be a great sitcom though. Like just like 2 guys who run a float house, and then the people that come through and like the different revelations they have, but they can tell who's like full of shit.
I think that's literally Vancouver Real. That's like what their podcast started off as, is like people having their stories coming in. Like, but they're
that's fantastic.
They're doing so good for themselves. They just had they're gonna have, by the time this airs, they'll have Wim Hof,
That's crazy.
which is insane. The Iceman. People don't know what his accomplishments. This guy's like climbing Everest with no clothes and like no oxygen.
That
Like,
doesn't seem safe.
he doesn't, dude. This guy holds his
I
breath
wouldn't
underwater.
recommend
He's doing like the English Channel. Like, do you know how cold?
That I've done.
Oh yeah.
Everest I don't know about,
Yeah,
but I've
not to-
definitely done the
Not to
English
minimize his accomplishments, but you've definitely done that.
Year before I graduated high school, I was like, fuck it.
Oh yeah, as a
Yeah.
minor too.
Let's
right?
get in there.
Yeah.
Get in there.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I think what we're gonna do right now is the first time ever on this show is we've been able to. Not right now. We're not ready.
Not the second. I'm
Okay,
just
not
gonna
the
find
second.
spot.
But I do want to set this up as a little teaser for later on. But if you're listening to the audio portion of this, God love you. You're doing God's work.
Do God's work.
We appreciate that. But the reality of this is some people are watching this online, and if so, we have recently finally figured out how to do live reactions to things. So there's so
That's
many.
why I'm wearing a hood indoors like an idiot, so I
Yup.
don't see the monitor.
That's right. You're a kind fella to put on the horse blinders like that.
Yep.
So C-Mart is trying to draw up.
I'm trying to line it up.
footage. Yeah, don't worry about it.
There's 10 hours of footage, and I'm trying to find
Yeah.
like a couple minutes here.
Well, fucking figure it out. It's your only job on the
Okay,
podcast.
thank you very much.
But basically, right before this started, he's like, Sparling's like, "Oh, I miss you, C-Mart. I haven't seen you in a while." He's like, "Yeah, it's good." He's like, "Yeah, you having sex lately? Yeah, you doing pretty good."
Why you gotta know? You know, yeah.
Just let me follow right into that. Like, oh, yeah, I haven't seen you in a while. You
Well,
having
because you
sex?
ask a lot of
Yeah,
people when you ask like, hey, what's like at least a lot of the people that
Yeah.
I bump into and
Yeah.
know regularly. I'm like, hey, what's up? It's just like, oh, same old, because it's literally just
You
it's
just go
the
right
same
for
old,
it.
Same old. So why wouldn't you make sure?
Well, let me ask you: Are you having
People
sex a
having
lot?
sex.
Are you having sex a lot right now?
I've
Hetero sex?
I've been having sex.
Yeah.
I have a fucking
Don't
beautiful
brag.
girlfriend who I thoroughly enjoy her physical company. And
Excellent.
having
Excellent.
said that, I've had a savage fucking cold for the last 2 weeks.
I told you earlier this week
So-
when you coughed on the phone for 5 minutes
Yeah.
with me. I told you don't bother showing up if you smell like this.
I
Smell-
smoke a small amount
act.
of weed every day and a half for the last 15 years.
Nice.
And
That's good.
it is good for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the only thing was I was so sick that in the like 2.5 weeks, I smoked weed maybe 4 times and had to have halls going at the exact same time. Like it was impossible.
You sounded like you had tuberculosis on the phone. with
I
me.
gave myself tuberculosis.
Self-induced
Yeah.
Epsom
TV.
salts tuberculosis. I can't say anything. today.
Epsom. I'll tell you what. We are pretty much ready to effing rock. If you want to,
Oh, and this?
you want to do
I'm
some,
excited.
you want to do some live reaction stuff. I would love this.
Okay, so just to preface this here,
Okay, so just so everyone knows, so we're gonna live react to some stuff on the show that we've never done this on this podcast. We've the best we've done is like I've held up like my phone for YouTube reactions and we just like kind of plug it in afterwards or something. But this is like we actually have cams set up and stuff. So hopefully we're gonna screen capture.
Like a classic example would be like you saying
you
like
gonna meta reference this? Here we go.
if you were to do that.
Yeah, if Alex
you seen
Sparling
that?
showed me a photo of Alf and then a girl looking like she's filleting a skin bag.
She has a penis on top of her face and makes her look like Elf.
Alf.
And there's nothing that's made me laugh harder
That's
in my
it.
entire life.
Jesus
Isn't that the
Christ.
fucking best picture?
That's a
Because the best part is that
That's
she
the
looks
thing.
like Elf.
She does actually a little
But
bit.
that's not fun for you if you're watching online. That's why you guys.
That's why you
took
didn't
a
show
step
it.
Up.
That's why you didn't show it. We don't get age restricted.
good
Yeah,
point.
you guys got a lot of 13-year-old viewers.
Yeah.
I certainly hope not.
I hope not. Yeah. I'll tell you what though. Here's the reality is, earlier today, Chris Martin, C-Mart to you.
Well, smile more to me.
Smile more. Chris Martin sends me a link earlier today and says, just watch this. Insanity. And I was like, what? He sends me a link and it's this. Okay, so we're just going to play this now and we're going to talk over it as we're watching it. Because like he sent me this, I watched 10 minutes of it and I was so intrigued immediately. And I asked C-Mart how much he watched and he said 3 hours.
A couple hours plus.
So,
2 to 3 hours.
fantastic.
So go ahead and
Yeah,
play
yeah.
this. Go ahead and
All
play
right,
this,
I gotta
brother.
switch first, and then
Yeah. So we're still working on the
So
crossover.
already it
but-
looks like the Pittsburgh Penguins.
so this is the Battle of the Nations in Barcelona, Spain.
All right, run it for a bit. Okay,
This
so
is Ukraine and
that's fantastic.
and Russia.
so what? This is 21.
21 versus 21.
Oh, they're giving her. There's no holding
As
back.
soon as
at
you
all.
fall down, you're out, and they just get after it.
I love this.
Can you stab a man?
Yeah, you can do whatever.
Do you
I
see
mean,
the- okay,
you
well,
can't
that
hit to the
guy's
back
out.
of the legs, but
So look at
What do
this.
you mean you can't hit in the back? Of,
'Cause
you can take an axe to the back of some guy's neck,
yes,
Okay, so
but you
look-
can't take.
So what's the name of this league? What is
the
this?
Battle of the Nations.
Battle of the Nations, and
This is the World Championship final.
And this is
21
21
versus
No, this is
21.
called Battle of Super Virgins. This is not Battle of Nations.
A
And
lot
you
of
have to
it,
stay sitting on the ground.
yeah. Once you're out, once you've been knocked over,
How do
you're
you-
out on the ground.
So you have to actually be knocked over to
Once
be
your knee,
eliminated.
I think when you take a knee, you're out.
Okay, so it's basically like a fatigue game. So if you look at this. Oh, he's got
the backward choke.
Oh
my god.
Oh,
So they're like legit weapons. They're not sharpened.
That's a
So they're dulled, obviously.
Yeah, but they still are like they're wearing lots of armor.
Oh my god! Look at it. He's just chopping wood.
So do you make your own weapons?
Look at this.
No, you
That's
can
the back
just
of the
buy
leg.
them.
That's illegal.
Yeah, he
I know
moved on.
one
He
rule,
moved on.
and that's not.
Cross-checking.
You can cross-check to the back of the neck.
Cross-checking right to the face or back of the head. Sorry, it wasn't quite Crosby-like.
No. What's his nuts got at least a 5-minute.
So Russia, I think, wins this first bout here.
Wow. Okay,
This guy's just giving up and just slowly whacking.
Well, he's
so-
just getting his head back.
So I have a
Come
question.
back, children. Watch this medieval warfare.
Okay, can you kick? That guy was kicking.
Yeah. Oh, 'cause there's lots of kicking actually.
Okay.
That's
I
one of
love
main
the
moves.
ref uniform. That's
Yeah, I know.
fantastic.
They're called knight. Knight somethings.
They're just in there, no armor or nothing, no weapons.
Yeah, they can get smacked in the head.
Do they get?
easily.
They get got?
Is
That
there
was-
is there
I
a
haven't seen
blooper
them
reel
get
yet of them getting
It just
got?
happened today, so I don't know.
Oh, was today the
we
very
switched it.
first
Yeah.
one?
So no. So it was all all
crazy.
weekend. It
That
was
was
all
fucking
weekend.
crazy.
This was the finals today of the 21v21. Yeah.
That was the
Did you-
finals?
Okay,
Yeah.
did you,
And it boiled down to Russia and Ukraine?
You rush it exactly.
That's beautiful.
right?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, there's no history there. Good. It's a nice, clean fight.
Yeah, that's easy. Yeah, no, forget Czech Republic and Russia, like Summit Series or whatever. No, this is where real rivalries come down.
Do you want to fight people from another nation that have literally invaded your nation recently, and we're going to give you actual weapons? What do you feel about that?
Oh,
You're
that's
like,
fantastic.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
C-Mart,
But it's
this
like, I
was
just
brilliant,
imagine-
brilliant stuff.
But I just
bro.
imagine, like, if that's what, like, at least from the Ukraine end of things, like almost like the plot of Armageddon.
Yes.
Where they have to find miners, right? And they just go and find the best miners. So it's just like the best LARPers across the country.
Right.
And you get the call. Could you imagine getting that call as a LARPer?
I'm in. I'm fucking in.
100%. I've never wanted
Yeah.
anything more in my
I'm
life.
in if you address me as my dragon name.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But and then he still goes to the same bar he's been to every fucking
Right.
night because Serge sucks
I love
and
this.
he never gets laid. He sits down in front of Ivanka, who's sitting there.
Ivanka.
The same girl he's tried to pick up every night. He's like, so, I'm going to be gone for a little bit.
Oh, yeah, where
She's
you
like,
go-
what
wait,
are you
yeah,
doing?
Yeah, she's like, where are you going?
What are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm going off to war.
What?
What do you mean war?
What
We
war?
lost that already.
Yeah.
You're not no, he's like, no, it's with swords.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. You have a bit of an accent. You
Uns
got
Maces. I
accent
think it's
now.
more German than it is Russian.
Okay.
I just love saying uns as an
Sound.
end.
Ons, every
Listen,
time I plays the halberds.
Maces und swords. Uns.
There were some serious strikes happening there. Can we?
No, they.
That was savage.
He cross-checked that guy 100%, like 5-minute major, like
That
hard.
100%.
No, so
Oh,
like
yeah.
I've often seen in my about 180 plus minutes of viewing today.
I can't believe
like,
you watched 3 hours.
What's
That's
crazy
so
is
funny.
that the strikes that come down on the hands, like like as you're striking someone else with a giant metal weapon,
Right.
they are also striking back at you, and so your hands are quite exposed, and their gloves aren't as attached as you would think. They can be ripped off, and some people,
so
as
there's
soon as they
like,
get hit and they take it back and they scurry away to the back because
it's like
I swear to God they've broken a finger,
Broken
and they
wrists
now
and
need
stuff.
to like get another weapon and a glove and get back into it.
Well, did you see?
You get back into it. That's
yeah.
well, of course.
C-Mart, I hate to throw this on you on the fly, but just because while we're talking about this, would you be able to, if I ask you to search something right now that we've added this function, would you be able to search it real quick on YouTube? It's very easily searchable.
I don't think we have the internet, so
We don't have the internet.
no.
What did we just stream then?
Oh, I guess we do, yeah.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
So
Ridiculous.
No, I would much rather know that you just owned 10 hours of that.
Yeah.
That you kept on your personal
That would be even
file
better.
all the
Yeah.
time.
I'm like, did you walk in with a hard drive of Battle of Nations?
I had to get a new phone.
Can you pull up really quickly here just to
well, first,
just
while
to
I
bookend
do,
this? Yeah.
I would have to ask that cause it's going to take me a couple minutes, but yeah.
Sure. No, it just look up Mark Mathot,
Ugh.
Sidney Crosby.
Ugh.
Because this brings
God.
up the point you just said about unprotected digits and fingers and stuff like that. So this just
okay.
happened in the
All right.
NHL. And Mark Mathot.
If he gets, but I mean, that's the problem. I guess we should wait.
So
no.
we can-
Keep.
No, go ahead, go
Because
ahead.
the problem.
Just go to
with that
Bird's Eye
play-
if you want, bro. If you want to search stuff.
It's
yeah.
okay.
Like I get that that's like it by the book, not an totally illegal play.
It's totally not. That's it
Like
right
you
there.
get
Yeah,
it's a
do that.
slashing penalty, I don't even think he got a. Did he even get a slashing penalty for it?
Let's watch right here. Okay, so C-Mart's got it up here. Look how good he is now that we have this function. This is gonna be the whole show now. We're just gonna do.
I know this is a unique show. Okay, so I'm gonna switch to it and then.
Yeah, sure. One day we'll just switch in a seamless fashion. Okay, so here we are. So here's what happened is Mark Mathod's a defenseman right here. He's playing.
Who's Mark Mathod?
I think the guy who has the puck right now.
This is Mark Mathod.
And he plays for the Ottawa Senators in the NHL. And Sidney Crosby, everyone knows him for Pittsburgh Penguins. Now that slash.
Just nothing.
Did you just see that there? So he just slashed his hand. Now Mark says, "Ew, that really fucking hurt." Now watch. He checks his hand. Now look at this. Pause it if you can when it shows his hand here. So that's all he did.
I think if you go forward,
they
zoom in on it.
Did you see how? Just
Where?
Back that up real quick. Yeah, back that up just a couple seconds. Watch how easy this is, and just let it play through. So hits it. That's an everyday slash. That happens all the time. Now watch this. Now C-Mart just.
But he cuts his fucking finger off.
Look at this. Ooh, pause that. Ooh, look at that. Oh my God, you just hit space and pause that right there. Oh, look at that. Oh God,
it's not good.
So that finger. Now he happened to just get slashed just between the pad where that part of the protection doesn't cover, and because of that, we're talking about like this is. We just watched a medieval battle to an insane degree. When you were like, "Oh, people
their
are
armor
walking,"
is quite thick on that one. But yeah,
when people are cradling their hands walking away, I'm like, Jesus, like what is going on there? Because like that's not a weapon.
Well,
that was a hockey stick.
The joints is the same way with a hockey glove. Is there's just like that joint of just fabric.
Yeah.
That just hangs between the padding.
Just crazy shit, though.
I still feel like, honestly, like if you're gonna borderline cut a guy's finger off, there has to be a penalty there. Like
he didn't get a penalty for that. Did he not get a penalty for that?
I don't.
But like a slash is not just like your stick riding up on someone's their hand.
They're generally
right?
like two-handed whacks, like lumberjack style. Like if you're, but you're allowed to depending on the ref.
Well, it's a borderline stick tap.
Yeah,
like
you're allowed to let the guy know.
The stick to just.
Yeah, because you're trying to get the guy to lift his stick to affect his puck control, right? So at the same time,
like
that's
no one could
kind
claim
of
that
allowed.
That was his goal.
You're not allowed
That's
to water
insane.
ski is like what it comes down to, like hooking and slashing. You're not allowed to like physically pull the guy with the blade of the stick. Or
Interestingly, you're actually not allowed to do that fully in Battle of the Nations
That's fantastic. I love it.
You can grab people by the shoulder and stuff.
Let's go
but
through
you can't grab by the neck.
What would the penalties be?
Let's figure this out because we literally are so ignorant to the sport. These might.
So I
actually
learned
be
you
penalties.
can't hit the guys in the back of the leg. Because it's about knocking people down. So if you just jab, like if you had a pole arm and you just bashed them in the back of the leg, they're probably going to go down.
Is there a limited? Here's a question: is there in this sport, this Battle of Nations, is there a limited number of, like say you can have like 5 swordsmen, 5?
It seems like they can switch around. So it seems like you want enough people with your frontal, like your shield wall, essentially, and you have the people with the pole arms in the back, and they just do. Like
that's what that guy was doing.
They just come down and hammer people on the fucking head.
Oh, that's insane. No, I love it so much. But I love too that there's like countries like Canada participate who historically
I saw Canada,
yeah.
But
Canada, China was there earlier.
No medieval experience.
No, yeah, USA
whatsoever.
was there. Canada and USA get run over by the Russians and the. And the French and like they get
because they don't have any family values attached to like fucking macing a dude in the head.
Well, they also haven't had many families in the macing game.
No, exactly. But that's exactly it. Like with Canada and America, like we're just historically better at shooting people.
Yeah, normally we got old
guns.
We killed buffalo here, motherfucker.
I love this so much. Exactly. I love the idea so much that there is like, first of all, 21 people that have shared.
What a strange number, though. Why is it 21 v 21? I haven't deciphered that.
I wonder if it's because I don't know. That's why.
That's what I
Did they divvy it up? Because there's different guys with just like short. Like you get to pick your weapon, like a bunch of short. Like
that's what I'm saying.
No, like not necessarily dual wield. Like nobody was dual wielding small battle.
So axes. It seems so. In the I noticed, and I don't know the exact rules, but I noticed that in the
how have you watched it for 3 hours and not looked up the exact rules?
Well.
Actually, I have a great answer for that. Probably because he was just so enthralled, like the way we were.
That makes sense.
Sometimes you can kind of just see what's probably going on if everyone's wielding those like falchions or whatever, and those like that I
love this.
assume that's part of the rules.
I love this.
Otherwise, you would find more differentiation between weapons.
3 hours, and he's like, I think I can assume enough of the rules here.
No, but
Fucking bit of a sword Batman over here.
but in the 1v, I watched some of the 1v1 fights, which I thought would be more interesting.
1v1.
But they're kind of slower. And
that makes sense because you give each other time and just like
yeah, but I saw some two-handed swords, in which that's what I was looking for.
Like a claymore.
Yeah, like they were definitely like a 1.5, like a bastard
like
sword
a
style.
William
like big,
Wallace.
Yeah, and they were pretty cool. There's a lot of blocking, which I noticed in the 21v21 match. Not a lot of blocking. It's just anarchy.
But by 21-21, I do wish that you had a team of like 3 archers. Archers,
crossbowmen. It's like, I will kill you.
Yeah.
Even if you try to dull that down, it still needs to 1 be sharp enough to be aerodynamic, and then 2 dull enough, just a full fuck.
Interestingly,
you
though,
do it with the crossbow. I feel like
no, the crossbows are death.
Like a bow and arrow, it was just like dulled. You remember like as a kid making like willow branch bows and arrows?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And just like the.
However, I was actually reading something interestingly about longbows, not just, but in my travels, I was reading about longbow battles and about what it actually meant for the 2 armies fighting them. And I thought it was interesting. Is one person kind of, because no one truly knows, like the Battle of Crecy and like a bunch of these.
Well, yeah,
these big battles. Anyway, the point is that he kind of was thinking that the archer, like, there's almost a 0% chance that the archer penetrates the armor of a mounted or armored
knight,
infantry unit, like a man-at-arms or a knight. Like, you're not going to hurt them.
Okay.
However, like, they estimated like some of the pound force of these arrows could be up to like 300 pounds per square inch, which is not crazy, but it's still enough.
To like if you hit somebody
in the head, you're like, Jesus. And so enough of these archers.
I think it was a bit more than fuck off.
No, but the idea was that it was almost like a boxing match between the 2 armies with their archers to just beat the other army down, and then when they got close to each other, when they fought, you would kind of warn them down.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, because it also takes so much to pull a longbow.
I read
and you can't. Yeah, exactly.
So it's not
totally
you're not
right.
rapid firing a longbow.
No, and even if you could, you wouldn't, because you'd be worn out in like an hour.
I read this.
And these battles are like 8 to 10 hours long.
Yeah, like I read a long time ago that more knights historically died of heart attacks on the field than of mortal wounds, because of the weight of carrying your armor around and the panic of battle. Like, you just had this blood rush of like combat high, and then suddenly your heart's just like. But
could you imagine trying to figuring that out in the age and just knowing that you're the quiet killer? But like you killed all these great knights, and it's just literally because you just ran around them.
They probably think it was magic. They probably think it was magic.
That's where rogues came from.
That's where rogues.
100%.
That's exactly. They probably think it was magic. They're like we've been totally cursed on the field today. 40 of our best knights fell by not a single blow.
Well, did you ever watch? It was on Discovery. Fuck, what's it called?
It's not the one culture versus the other culture.
So, yeah, the one culture, like the warrior from the one culture.
What was that called? You watched that shit.
Greatest Warrior.
Deadliest Warrior.
Deadliest Warrior. Yeah.
It's not about a culture.
Where they have
it's
like
just some.
Where
anyway.
where they have like your classic English medieval infantry versus like an Apache warrior.
Sure.
And just like all of like the traps and the long range, like archery with the Apache warrior and the tomahawk, versus just like that shielding and brute fucking strength from the English. You know what I mean? And they recreate that. Oh, man, that's a great recreation show. Some shit that I've always wanted.
Experimental archaeology.
Well, we were talking about this earlier, but one of my favorite things ever is reenactments.
Oh.
Reenactments are my favorite thing because they're either like the best and you're like, whoa, I feel like that happened. Or they're the worst and you're like, oh, that's awesome.
Well, that's always my favorite part about watching.
The best.
Well, the reenactments too, because you it's like on like 48 hours kind of a thing.
Yes, the first 48.
First 48, and you watch these guys do the reenactments, and then you have to then taking a step back to realize that these people actually audition for the role, and a lot of people that'll be their only role of all time.
Yeah, no, of course.
Like I killed my wife and 2 kids. That's my whole fucing acting career.
Well, I was saying before, the reason why I'm so into prison documentaries and like obsessed, like crazy obsessed with prison documentaries, is that I like.
A desire to go to prison?
Well, the golden goose of watching these documentaries is when they actually, and this is very rare, it's the unicorn of all of them, is when they have the actual person who committed the crime in the reenactment. That is the golden goose.
Well, almost like and I almost never watch because I fucking hate flying, but that like they
forgot about that.
Just like the airplane disasters or whatever.
Oh, those are second favorite.
And because some of those pilots survive,
oh god,
they'll reenact much the same way. Like they'll just like reenact how like
it's always the
they
dark
landed it. Yeah,
it's always the dark room behind them.
But he's just like he remembers that feeling and just like never does the PTSD pop because why? I mean, you're just that badass for sure. But like he's just like I can shoot for a half hour and then I need to go take a float because. Yeah, it's all coming back to me.
This is the best ad for Floathouse we've ever done. By the way, if you've suffered from medieval wounds today,
medieval wounds or saved a plane from crashing, come float. Fix yourself.
I'd be curious about PTSD and floating, to be honest.
It's actually very beneficial. You know what helps PTSD more than anything they've been finding is psilocybin.
I saw that.
But would not the Floathouse not the Floathouse? The Floathouse is great.
Let's cut them out of this.
No, but like the floating in general, like isolation tanks, would that not be like to be alone in your thoughts? Is that not the one?
I don't know
danger of PTSD on some level?
I'm obviously not a doctor, but from what I understand.
Any doctors in here?
No? MD? No. Yeah.
MD. Oh, that's great. That's great. That's fantastic.
I obviously not, but like from what I understand though, the nature of PTSD is so individually based.
I have no experience, so.
No, I mean, seriously though, like if you have PTSD, your level may vary wildly from someone else. Like someone else who literally has like combat flashbacks and they go back versus someone who was in a car accident or something like that. Like,
am I a room full of people like trying to one up each other with their PTSD?
Well, that's a good point because I was just going to ask you, like, is this out of line to ask you, like, do you
I have no PTSD
at all?
No.
Is it because you don't have any recollection of the event?
I think there's a lot of that, and I just don't care enough. Like,
I don't know if people know what we're even talking about.
There's a camera. They do. I only have one eye. And
I mean,
that's what it is. I was like, they got the picture-in-picture reaction, and they got a special effects budget.
I just don't know.
And they spent it all in CGA-ing this guy's
CGA and I.
CGA and I.
Epsom salts.
I don't know if we've ever actually talked about what happened on the show, though. Have we ever talked about it?
I don't know.
Because we even way back on the AMP records, like the Vault episodes, I think because the first time I had you on, it was you and Devin Alexander. Love Devin.
Well, a lot of people have probably it was the Bertuzzi incident.
Okay, so what are you talking about?
It's fucking Bertuzzi hit me.
Todd Bertuzzi.
Allegedly. Fucking hit me.
Jesus Christ.
So I mean, I'm
Bertuzzi.
shocked that he was so violent. Like he has such
Todd Bertuzzi.
What would the reasoning be?
He has such a pacifist.
Sean Avery.
Evander Kane.
Yes.
And
noted predator. Allegedly.
Serious. Obvious rapist.
Hey, allegedly.
Oh, no.
No, he's not even.
No, he didn't even try to elope. He just tried to take her.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, did you say a nope?
He said nope, not elope.
This is the second podcast this week I've called Evander Kane a rapist on, and I regret nothing.
I think we're going to throw an allegedly in there just to protect the...
Sure. They allegedly broke into my house and hit me with a hammer.
No, you...
Todd Bertuzzi allegedly...
Oh, my God.
This is weird. This is strange for people that don't know the story because here they are thinking that these NHL players have done this atrocious tragedy.
They never got caught, but I know it was Todd Bertuzzi.
You know, they never got...
Also, like, as an audio form, that would be impossible.
Oh, this is also impossible for people to know. So the majority of our listeners listen to the show. They don't watch. So what I would like, if you're comfortable...
I only have one eye.
Because
of a home invasion.
Which happened how many years ago?
Roughly around when Todd Bertuzzi retired.
I'm just saying
all of the evidence lines up.
It's not a coincidence.
They never caught the guy. I don't know for sure.
So you think he's just like, I don't get thrills out of life anymore?
He's just like, I'm not fucking done.
I still have massive damage to lay out on.
I can't watch Red Wings games anymore. It's tough.
Doesn't his kid play for the Red Wings now? Is that
true? His nephew.
Oh, his nephew.
Yeah.
He never
Does he
procreated.
is it for the Red Wings?
I think he plays for Red Wings.
That's pretty crazy dynasty. But anyway.
Well, easy with the dynasty.
Well, I mean, like.
He's Todd Bertuzzi.
I'm just saying.
Noted neck breaker.
How many people get
It's
to one
always
in the
family.
NHL?
Family's always fun in the NHL. I liked Kachuk.
Oh yeah,
That's
I like,
fucking a lot of
I
fun.
like Keith Kachuk's kid, Matt. Yeah.
He's a monster.
But hold on, we're totally getting off track. Just
You're
like
right.
you, is that you don't want to talk about it?
No, I do want to talk about it.
I don't know if our listeners have ever heard you.
No,
tell
I
this
didn't.
story.
I lost an eye in a home invasion.
Which is okay. That's an insane statement.
It's just and it's also just so easy now at this point. Like 7 years after the fact, it's just like
So it was 7 years ago. So like
7, 8.
I'm only saying this because I want everyone to be on the same page when they're
No,
listening.
that makes total sense.
Because you reference
Jayme,
it and
it's
joke
okay.
about it.
Yeah.
No, you joke
It's
about
okay.
it so much that I'm like, I don't know if we've ever talked about it on the show.
I don't know if we have. Maybe like
Like
one
I
of the
know
first,
you,
but I think we might have talked about it one of the first. The
No.
first time we did it, not even then.
No. I think we made reference to it because like it got brought up at a show once or something like
Because
that.
we were talking about Todd Bertuzzi, and I didn't tell you at that point.
Here we go.
But it's just a trigger for me.
What I'm trying to say is you didn't like originally we were talking about PTSD, right? So as I said, I'm like, you don't have any PTSD because you seem
No.
like you'd be a prime candidate for that.
No, because
I'm
I don't.
glad you don't.
Because I was blackout drunk washing dishes like 4 o'clock in the morning, and then just
So you go to bed. You go to bed blackout drunk.
no. I'm washing dishes, and they burst in while I was washing dishes.
So you were blackout drunk. It was on Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's Thanksgiving. You and your roommate are drunk.
Well, the whole house was. Like, we had a bit of a party.
Okay,
But
so
me and my buddy are the last two up, and we both decide to like just.
all this information that you're telling right now, this is being relayed by what party? Like who?
Everybody in the house.
Everyone in the house
has
knows.
told me this after the fact.
Okay, so here you are washing dishes, blackout drunk. You're not even aware of your faculties. You're completely out of it.
Well, I mean, I'm still pretty good at drinking, so I'm like.
I'm washing dishes a little bit.
Yeah, like I was washing like.
They probably need to be
from the
rewashed
noise.
after.
Like
I
was
imagine.
I was together enough that I'm sure when somebody burst in, the four guys burst through the back door, I said something.
What do you think he said?
Get out of my house, Todd.
Because
Todd
you
Bertuzzi.
immediately had the
You
wherewithal
recognize Todd Bertuzzi.
to identify him.
Well, the snake in the grass still wears his jersey.
During the
He's gotta
attack.
be wearing the
Everywhere,
jersey.
yeah.
This is
Allegedly.
so strange that he would have no. First of all, were they masked?
Pardon me?
Were they masked?
Well, with the visor.
Yeah, he Plekanec was there wearing a fucking turtleneck.
Thomas Plekanec, noted
Yeah.
Montreal Canadian
Yeah, noted turtleneck wearer.
enthusiast,
Turtleneck enthusiast, that's exactly it.
tactile neck.
Turtleneck and hammer enthusiast.
Oh God! So as we advance through this dark comedy that you're
And
making,
that guy was there too. Come back here.
you just gave C-Mart anxiety with getting out of frame. He's like,
No,
frame?
it was
No,
good.
you're okay.
I think it's
Yeah.
good when people kind of
Me
fuck
too.
around.
Perfect.
So to follow up on that, so these guys burst into the house.
Personally, I was clocked me in the face. Like they clocked me first, and then woke up my buddy, threw him down in front of me, put a gun to his head, and was like, "Where is your shit?" And my buddy was like, "Yeah, you're lucky if there's like a couple roaches downstairs."
Whoa!
And then they were like, "Oh, okay," and then stole my iPod and left.
Hold on though. Wait, they put a gun. When they say they clocked you, they punched you
With a hammer. They clocked me
So they come in, they don't say anything, they immediately hit you in the face with a hammer.
That I don't know. I don't know if we had a conversation about Marty McSorley, or like what I might have said to piss him off. You know, I'm pretty sure I definitely said as he walked in, I said Burroughs is a racist. Just something, something cute to kick off conversation
Allegedly.
with former Canuck Todd Bertuzzi.
An icebreaker.
Icebreaker. You just and his response was
Like that's most of his interviews.
right, and then he hit you.
And then he just clocked me.
So, I mean, all jokes aside, your cavalier nature about that is fucking remarkable in a lot of ways. I'm pretty blown away by that because like that is like such a fucking crazy event.
You gotta do like what else? You supposed to do?
You have such a great attitude about life, though. That's one of the if I could say this, one of my favorite things about you, my friend, is that you have like the coolest fucking attitude. Like you are like you have this grasp on life.
Oh, you sweetheart.
That is, it's a beautiful thing, man. It's recognizable. It's not just me. It's peers. that are like, man, like Sparling knows how he's doing this.
Yeah.
Just the idea that like here I am talking about quite possibly the most tragic event in your life, and you're making us laugh our asses off.
A lot of it just
While
comes from, I
you're
just want to
doing it.
ruin somebody's hockey career. I just want to, like, just one player who's wronged me in the past. I want to tarnish his.
Wronged you.
Right, yeah, allegedly.
I want to
Allegedly.
tarnish his reputation. So there's never like.
I'm gonna keep peppering allegedly in here because this is
can do that.
It's gonna be a letter for
You
sure.
can- Allegedly, there will be a letter. They'll never. They don't pay attention. The Canucks organization doesn't pay attention to any of their fans' needs.
They clearly don't.
Let alone like all of a sudden somebody's making accusations that Todd Bertuzzi and Alex Burrows stole my eye with a hammer. They're not going to notice that because they don't listen. They don't listen to the fans enough to say rebuild for the last 4 years. Like Trevor Linden can't do it, and there's a reason that horseshit, stupid, fucking garbage hockey team drafted 5th overall. Because that's how I believe in the hockey gods. Because they're like, no, unless you let just an everyday dude and a group of his friends who works at Safeway and lives in Surrey and buys a jersey and wants to come to a hockey game, unless you can let him afford and open those seats in the lower bowl to him, then you can go fuck yourself for the rest of hockey eternity.
It's a weird spot to be in.
Because, well, it's so funny. I hate that team so much. But and we've talked about this so
What's
much
your team,
before.
Sparling? Let's put it on. What's your team?
Oh, the Winnipeg Jets.
Okay.
Do you have
The 2019 Stanley Cup champions, the Winnipeg Jets.
Do you have any gear?
2009.
By the way, the last 3 years
It's forward
saying,
thinking.
he's been saying 2019.
It's going to happen.
Like he's been calling that exact year. So if this
What are the
happens,
Vegas odds on
this
that?
footage right here. This is why footage is important.
What are the what are the odds on that though?
Astronomical.
You can't. Well, just like there's so much that needs to happen in 2 years. Like the clock is ticking. I'm starting to get panicked, but happy I didn't tattoo it on my fucking neck yet.
You're the kind
Yeah.
of guy that still wears a Jets hat during the postseason, the second round of the playoffs.
You have to, especially in Vancouver.
Like I was like, I
Your
don't
team
know.
didn't exist until a couple years ago.
Hockey still did. Quality hockey did. And that's a thing that hasn't existed in this stupid city in so long.
Jesus Christ, Alex
It's
Sparling.
not my fault I'm hockey culture in the city of Vancouver.
You just go from venue to venue making friends. That's what I gather.
I try to.
Yeah.
I did.
Did you or did you not on live TV on Global News
Talk about how Andre Pavlik was
noted goaltender for the Winnipeg Jets?
He's a glorified AHL.
What did you say though?
He said they asked me because I won a contest, and they were asking me what I was going to do with all this new momentum, and I was like, well, hopefully this gets me the opportunity to play goaltending for the Winnipeg Jets, because right now anybody's better than Andre Pavlik, who's a glorified AHL goaltender who has no business making that kind of money in a real hockey league. He's a fucking. I hate him.
I love it so much.
The man who's done nothing.
I love that. Here's my
He's the
favorite.
worst person on the planet.
Here's my favorite part about this story, though, is I was producing one morning, and Sparling calls me up, and it's like, I don't know, like a Tuesday or Monday or something, and he calls me up and he says, hey, what are you doing right now? And I was like, what? He's like, I just did a bunch of media, and I think they're going to edit it out of most of them, but I'm pretty sure I got in on the global.
That's all I've ever
news.
wanted. I just want.
I was like, what are you talking about? Like, what'd you say?
Kevin Cheveldayoff to have a reason to reach out and be like, Alex, what do I do?
It's one of my favorite
Well, then what do I do?
ever.
What do you want me to do? And I go, you fucking make a run for Ben Bishop or a real, because it's like we were talking about, goaltending is going to be the most important fucking thing in this league in the next
Big
5
time.
years.
I definitely agree with that. I think that's why guys like Carey Price and his unrestricted free agent,
What would be-
he's going to command like
That's so scary.
$12 million bucks,
Oh,
10.
What would be
100%.
different between why is this year or any future year from this or the past couple
what-
years on? Why is that unique?
If
to
I can,
the goaltending than it
If
was
I can
before?
answer, if I
Yep,
can
by all
answer,
means.
I think you have a great theory behind it. But if I could just lay the foundation real quick, during the lockout of the NHL season in 2005-2006, that lockout season, there was a number of rule changes made, but most importantly, league-wide, they implemented a salary cap, and that salary cap was with the intention of allowing smaller market teams to be able to compete with the larger markets like New York and LA, etc.
Which is important.
Which is very important, especially in the Canadian market.
I
because
would
of
agree
that.
with salary caps.
Yeah, and at that time, Canadian dollar, equivalency is very important compared to the U.S. dollar. So, like before that,
also in the peso still.
Well, before that lockout, you were having players demand to be paid in U.S. dollars, which was like, really screwing some markets up. That's why the Winnipeg Jets literally had to leave for 20 fucking years.
Well, and then Winnipeg got a little snobby with the team and stopped going to games. And they ran out of money.
Yeah, that also happened. But like, part of being able to draw is being able to have a competitive team. And right now, the league has never been on parity as hard as it is right now, because an 8th seed team can and has won recently all the way to the Stanley Cup. So when I say
part of the reasons the last 4, I want to say almost 5 years of playoffs have just been weird.
Yes.
Like the teams that have just snuck in and then done that well are like, what the fuck?
And you have like traditional like teams that are like the Habs won their division this year, they were the top of the division the entire year. Only for 24 hours they weren't on top or something. So the whole year. So that means in layman's terms, they defeated every team in their division the most to be at the top of that division. Like just to be clear. So to have that as an accolade, and then to go into the playoffs and lose and only manage to have 2 wins is pretty, like, that doesn't really statistically match up with how well they should have done. And that's just, I'm talking Montreal because I'm the Habs fan.
Yeah. So how does that factor into the goaltending?
The goaltending being that Montreal has arguably the best goaltender on the planet, Carey Price, and here it didn't help at all. But that's because forward depth, and I'll let Sparling take it from here. Forward depth is like
so disgusting.
It's like it's changing so much because.
Well, define that. What does that mean?
You used to, before the salary cap, you used to be able to load teams. Like you'd have stacked teams of like your 4th line could be the 1st line on most teams. That kind of
but I mean, like, didn't that not work out for what's the New York basketball team?
Yeah, but basketball's a disgusting fringe sport.
No, but I mean,
like
team like cohesiveness is more paramount.
It's more important to point out that like the team. You're right. The team cohesiveness is important, but it's more important than like your ability to roll 4 lines in the playoffs is everything, because things come down to like the most minor detail in the playoffs where like a home team has last line change, so they can literally have their best player out there. If you have like a guy earlier, like we were just watching the clips earlier, if you have like Mark Mathot as a defenseman and you want him specifically covering Crosby, if you're the home team, you know he's going to be out there smothering him every time, and that's
or like getting his finger
it's like the same way like
finger,
if Crosby was playing for a lot of other teams and just took that hit and was out of the playoffs, it'd be like you'd pull bets because there's no fucking way they're making the playoffs. Whereas Pittsburgh is so deep, every line is producing. Like you're still like,
but doesn't that take away from the goaltending idea? If your lines are so deep, then why does your goaltending matter?
Yeah, this is Sparling. This is interesting.
I apologize.
Is that like what I'm saying is that in the next. It's not like it's going to be the next 2 years, but guaranteed the next 3-4 where we see guys like McDavid and 2nd overall, world champion, MVP, and future Calder winning player Patrick Laine, then Austin Matthews. When these kids start getting like older and starting to get to the peak of their performance, goaltending is going to become the biggest thing. Because that forward depth is already, and that's what we've seen right now, is that teams have been drafting and trading to stack that front line. So the game is so fast, and these kids are so smart, and their shots are just off the fucking hook. Like Patrick Laine's, and not just being even biased, but you look at Patrick.
Because he's a Winnipeg Jet.
This is Winnipeg Jet. You look at his release time. And the only other time a release time has been that exciting and game-changing is when you got Brendan Shanahan inventing the fucking snapshot.
Basically, yeah, like an innovative.
Doesn't your like, and not to, because I think I agree with you and what your point is, but like as those players, like their rookie contracts are short.
They are, but they're as players are going to get better and better.
But as they get better, they start demanding higher and higher salaries, which push you out of the salary cap.
What the forward depth of the problem now is, or not the problem, the exciting thing is that there's so many kids coming up that are just gonna start like
here's like a
the
new
old guard is
generation,
gonna
you're
get
saying.
like shallower and shallower and shallower.
Yeah,
sure.
Like here's the thing. So,
but why
as
does
a rookie,
goaltending?
But my point is this: is that teams are gonna have to really start looking at drafting and building goaltenders first and foremost. My point is this: like right now, if you knew that like Crosby and Ovechkin are still like at their peak, like maybe 2-3 years out of like kind of fucking slumping, and then not even outside of All-Stars first round draft picks like McDavid, Austin Matthews, and these guys, but you're still getting like Mark Scheifele, who was like, I want to say fucking 5th or 7th draft pick overall. It's slowly turning into one of the best centers in the game. JC Peugeot or whatever.
Jean-Gabriel Peugeot.
And Stone in Ottawa. Like Curtis Lazar, Max Domi. All of these fucking kids are just getting better and better and better. And I'm saying in about 5 years, that forward depth is going to be so huge that goaltending is going to be such a big thing. Like in 3 years.
So what he's saying is like basically right now it's everything's parity.
Yeah,
but
on the
depth is going to be
depth.
massively overbalanced because there hasn't been like an incredible steal a game kind of goaltender since Carey Price.
Yeah,
or
and a
couple
goaltender doesn't get
guys
drafted
yeah.
for at least a 10 or 15.
Yeah,
even.
like even historically, I think
like a first overall,
Marc-Andre Fleury is probably the only only goaltender in the NHL history to be drafted #1 overall.
Yeah,
right.
And it's a thing that's going to have to happen.
It'd be like in football.
I mean, it's a much more rare position.
I don't know much about football, but like it would be like if you drafted a kicker
because
1.
he was just that important. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's an important position, you know. So here's the thing: that when you brought up earlier about rookie contracts, the thing about this is like you enter into the collective bargaining agreement with the NHL is you enter into this 3-year.
Yeah, it's short.
Entry. Well, 3 seasons is a long time for a young kid.
But it's the developing time when that person can come in when they're finally at their they're playing against the competition that is the best that there is.
Yeah, well, kind of in a way.
How is it different? Like, I'm sorry, how is it not?
Okay, so you literally like let's say
unless they're not being played at all.
Let's say you get drafted right from juniors and you play right away. Like if you're Connor McDavid, you're coming in as a generational talent. You're quite literally the lead. Like you lead the league in most stats. Like you're the best guy playing right now, but you're 18. Okay, so like if you could throw yourself back to 18 for a second.
In the league, in the AHL or the previous league?
In the NHL.
In the NHL.
So you're a phenom.
You get drafted and you immediately start playing. Like it's rare nowadays, but that it happens. So what I'm trying to say is the first 3 years of your career, whatever team drafts you, if you sign with them, which most kids do, obviously it's like the dream, they can sign you for a maximum of $950,000 a year, maximum. But the minimum you can make is $550,000.
But for how many years?
For 3 years.
For 3,
so that's called an ELC. So that's your entry level contract. So after that's complete, you enter into what is called restricted free agency. So you're an RFA. If you're an RFA, you're allowed to negotiate a new contract, but your drafting team gets first dibs on you.
But you can refuse.
You can definitely refuse, but that will.
You don't.
I mean, hockey's such a old school sport. Like here's the thing: Kyle Turris on Ottawa Senators, when he held out for the Arizona Coyotes, and now he's playing for the Senators, he held out. Didn't want to play with them anymore. Held out until Arizona was forced into a corner and had to make a deal. Arizona didn't make much on the deal.
Well, and then your classic Eric Lindros, like I'm just not fucking playing. But that's also like.
But that's what the main point being that like the team that drafts you gets your 3 major years. If you're lucky, they develop you in the role that you're supposed to be. And then when you enter in your 4th and 5th years, you get a bit more money. Like you get usually what is a bridge contract. And then if you successfully have been in the league for 5 years at that point, or you're over 20, I don't know how that works. If you're over 27, I think. If whatever comes first. Because some of the European leagues, you don't actually start like you
I would imagine.
Or you get bounced back down to a farm team for a while.
Yeah, or you might be drafted at the age of 22. So, like
sure.
If you play like later and like whatever. So the fact being that like when you reach that 6th year, you don't know if there's another contract at the end of that. Like the idea of these journeyman guys back in the day, like Bill Guerin and these guys like Mark Recchi, these guys that used to play 1 season here, 1 season there, 2 here, 1 there, all the way into their 40s. You'd be 40 years old, and then they'd be like, okay, I'm going to retire with a playoff push or something like that. that whole idea is like fading because you have mammoth monster contracts where guys are like in that CBA.
Mammoth contracts, and the kids are just too good.
They're just
like
too
you're
good.
So what
weeded
would be
out.
the average, like, for if you were to, like, you know, this is an absurd stat to like ask for, but like the average contract length for a
Lately?
player? No, just for a player.
It's
Any
better
player
to
of all players.
It's better to say the maximum. The maximum.
No, average. Because the average indicates
Probably
what
But
most
average
players
has
are
changed-
doing.
The average has changed too with like those like all the not even necessarily all-star, but like consistent producers. The average contract like is 4 to 5 years, I would say. Like
I'd say
especially
4
when
years.
you look,
Yeah, 4 to
Sure,
when you look
but
at
that's-
markets, especially like Vancouver, Winnipeg, and then a bunch of the smaller. Like if you get a guy who's doing pulling 25 goals a season, you're in a team that's like still like a bubble, like an 89, 88 points a season team. You're signing him to a 4-year contract.
Yeah.
Because you're not necessarily
of course.
he's not necessarily a franchise player, but he's for sure your second line until you can pick up somebody serious.
Definitely, and see that's the kind of what I'm saying is like while that's happening, the scenario that Sparling just laid out, you have draft picks that are not Connor McDavid level, but are still requiring development,
Same development,
and so you
yeah.
need veteran presence around them and things like that. So like that's kind of the
well, that's
the
why you
idea.
keep these guys.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not
like a
really good for the
mentorship.
rookies then. The rookies are kind of
It
fucked
can
over.
be. No, I
But
disagree.
that depends on management.
Yeah.
Why? I just
Right?
mean,
like
in-
Vancouver is a perfect wasted opportunity. Where
Oh
you have
my God.
So no, this is a
this
great
isn't,
example
This isn't
for it.
hating. This is like
Because
I agree
you
with
have insane, perfect, incredibly talented veterans and guys like the Sedins. And you're not bringing up like if you'd kept a guy like Kevin Bieksa to help bring up guys like your Tara Mankin, your Subban, and like Jordan Subban and play these kids. That's a veteran presence that you want around.
That's leadership
But
that you
now
can
they're not
rub.
even. Now they're just struggling with these like glorified third line pairing.
That's exactly it.
Defensemen,
That's
and they
exactly
have
it.
all of these kids coming up who come to the big show for 2 games, get fucking spooked. They're not great because they're not given an opportunity,
You're
and then
absolutely
they're
right.
just fucking done.
So like basically, it's creating this environment that is like conducive to the because like here's
what
the
I
thing.
mean is
you-
other sports normally have like, I don't know.
Well, you
it's a
can
good
lose
example,
82
like,
games.
Is it maybe it's basketball? There's other ones where like you get a rookie, and they're fucking ace level rookie, and then they're too good for your team by the end because they're just so good that you can't afford them by the time their
But
contract's up.
basketball's also a different sport
Yeah, I
because
understand.
one guy can take it
What
over.
I mean is
right?
that like obviously the contracts are more aligned to the teams taking advantage of the rookie players because you're
100%,
beholden
Yeah.
to the original signing team.
I think that
I didn't
happens
realize
way-
that was the way in hockey.
No, yeah. I think that happens way more in like say baseball.
Sure.
Like because
I just don't know
because of
enough.
because of the starting rotation and the way that the pitching rotations are lined up in baseball, it's much more common for like I don't know, like for a guy like Derek Jeter to make like $32 million a year and
For 100 years.
something like that, and you're like, wow, that's a huge contract. But then you look at like the highest paid player in the NHL, and he's making a third of that
pretty sure that's Louis Erickson.
at the moment. Oh,
Yeah.
because for productivity, hilarious. No, but no, like I guess we're talking a lot of numbers and shit like that about a sport that we love, and I think that there's an element to this that really makes sense, which is that like small market teams and large market teams are finally in an era where they can compete at the same time because here's what's the anomaly right now in 2017. You have a team, the Ottawa Senators, and they are a basement team. And by that, I don't mean points because obviously they're in the second round right now. They went farther than the Habs right now.
But a basement bubble team.
Basement bubble team. And by that, I mean like they are a floor salary cap. That means in the collective bargaining agreement, the owners need to spend a minimum amount of money on salary every year, which they do, and only that. And they're still competing. So when you have an owner like Eugene Melnyk, the guy's owned the Senators for I don't know how long, like a long time. That's his principle. Like he straight up says, I'm not spending any more than, I think the floor is like 57 million or 55 million or something. So if you say that, and then the cap is at like 76 million, doesn't sound like much, but like a $26 million difference.
He's running a good NHL dynasty in the league right now.
That's
well, dynasties a
no, I mean
dynasty
in
is
NHL, like the game.
Yeah.
But the guy's saving money.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
He is definitely he's saving money.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that much.
But it's like we were talking about before. They're just a 92-point team. And that's all they'll ever be if they keep it up.
If they manage to win the Cup this year, which is unlikely because they still have to beat either Washington or Pittsburgh to get to the final, I think very strongly that will be like a Moneyball scenario where people will be like, maybe we don't need to spend that much money on a team because like. Here's the thing.
But they've been playing that money. But they've been playing that money puck at Ottawa for so long, and I mean, at the end of the day, like you can't play Erik Karlsson for 60 minutes.
I mean, they try. They certainly try.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. You can't play that for 60 minutes, but you can't play our show for 60 minutes either, and we are unfortunately coming to the dwindle.
Oh, we are.
But the only reason I'm telling you is because you host an amazing weekly show called 8.5 Inches of Comedy at 8.5. It's on Main Street. It's one of my favorite rooms in the entire city.
How you sweepy.
I love it so much. I think you're wearing a swell shirt right now too, which is great. Yeah. I have one of those at home too. I rock mine.
You got the normal version?
You got to stand up a bit.
No, I got the metal one. I specifically asked for the metal one because I knew you typed the.
I like that actually.
I like that. Yeah, that's a good one.
Big fan.
I knew you were definitely like broing down on that. So
you gotta get. Well, we have one for Devin and then one for me.
Yeah, the Sesame Street one.
One's class. No, not Sesame. It's classy. Devin's a lot cooler than I am.
Devin is one of my favorite fucking humans.
He's the sweetest man on the planet. He's fucking hilarious.
I love him. He's such a good guy. Here's what I want to say though: is you've been just back on tour. Really quickly, I just want to say, how did the run go with the threesome shows? We haven't talked much about this too much.
No, that I'm actually okay. That I loved that. So the story is
just quick story.
Yeah, quick. There's a phenomenal Edmonton comic who I love intimately named Dion Arnold.
Quite intimately.
We had a threesome one of the last times that he was in town with the lady, and we it was the fucking weirdest, most pathetic threesome that anybody's ever tried to write, and we lived it. And the next time Dion came back to Vancouver, we spent a week basically drinking and riffing on this, and then halfway through the week just were like, we should write this as a two-man show, and then we just kept drinking and writing it as a two-man show. And the thing we tried to do with it, we set out to make it a threesome story that our moms would enjoy.
Dude, you gave me a call and you're like, look, I'm gonna send you something. Okay, this is literally live from my iPhone. But I was at this. I was at a. Was that an open mic or was it?
No, it was. So Dion was headlining the Top Talent Showcase at Yuk Yuk's here in Vancouver, and I called and asked for a spot, and they had a 10-minute. Somebody would drop. Did you know he was 10-minute spot?
Did you know he was going to be on that bill?
Yeah, and it was basically one of his last nights in town, and so we were just drinking together, and just still riffing on this before he went. So
you and Dion.
So I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna ask and see if I can get a 10-minute spot," and then I get the 10-minute spot. So now collectively we have 30 minutes, and just decide, "Fuck it,
combo.
Let's ask them if we can just do a fucking just off the cuff preview of it."
Yeah,
and it worked. It was fucking weird. It had pockets of. Like, this isn't polished enough, of course, but we both got off stage. We're like, I think we have something fun here.
I love that I have, like, the demo of it, basically. So you guys have polished it since then, took it out, and you guys have been running it for a little while now.
We just did a 2-night run of it at El Cortez in Edmonton.
Kind of like a festival preview?
That's exactly what it was, and it was a ton of fucking fun.
I've heard good things. So here's what I want to say is... I hope that there's plans for you to do this.
Well, we're doing it. We're doing it for the full run of Edmonton Fringe Festival in August.
Oh shit!
At El Cortez, the full 10-day, which is fucking ridiculous, and I'm so excited about. we succeed in the end. Like we made it the thing that our moms would enjoy. Dion's mom came to both shows and loved it. Like it's cute. There's really not a lot of sex involved, and we're just it's a character thing.
Hey,
Whoa!
Yeah, don't take the lid off.
There's fucking. There's
pot. There's banging.
But so and then
you're killing him with the picture.
I think we're gonna do it. I think we're gonna be doing a couple night run in here in July. Like I'm still trying to work the finer details about it, but we might be doing a 2-night run of it in July, in Vancouver.
Dude,
this just a ploy to get in on more potential threesomes?
Not at all. I am the happiest relationship I've ever been in my life. Her name is Carolyn, and she's the loveliest human being on the whole fucking planet.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
All right.
No.
Whatever Dion needs to do, Dion needs to do. But I'm not looking for anything else. Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, the level of love I have for you, man, is like fucking.
I love you too.
I think that's an amazing. I love this premise. I love the concept. Everything. I love that you were just like, silly. I should probably do it, and then you just did it.
Well, it wasn't so much like we were just like, yeah, we should probably do it, and then the reason we're the Edmonton Fringe Festival is because we worked it out and we had a lot of fun and we started writing it, and then Dion called me. He's like. So I need some money from you because I've submitted us for the Vancouver Film Fringe Festival, the Edmonton Fringe. He basically submitted us to every fucking Fringe Festival under the sun whose deadline was coming up in the next 2 months, which is a lot of money.
So we might be doing a bit of a run then. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy for you, brother. I think that this is a good thing for you. This is the kind of thing that raises a profile.
Dude, we'll see.
Dude,
but it's fucking fun.
You'll no longer be Slice TV's own Alex Sparling. You will be.
Or you'll have a new show.
I'll be Dion Arnold's Alex Sparling.
Yes.
Which will be great.
I love it, brother. How can people follow you if they want to follow you online, my friend?
Always just Alex Sparling on Facebook. My Instagram's kind of fun. I don't normally do a lot of social media, but my Instagram's fun.
It's always fun.
At Mr. Sparling. So at MR. I think it's Mr.
No, I think it's
MR.
I think it's just straightforward.
Well, if you want to find me, you'll look up both.
That's right. That's the way you want to do it.
Add both.
The other guy's probably great.
C-Mart, how can people follow you if they're so inclined?
Not really a thing.
Excellent.
At Battle Nations.
Keep that right.
Battle of the Nations.
For sure.
I'll be the one with the mace.
Yeah.
I would love a flail. That's what I want, a spiked flail. That's fucking... I don't know if you noticed this, but... the eye protection is very loose in that sport. Some people have like the full cage or a cagey kind of thing.
I saw
Some people just have it's kind of closed.
They must be wearing safety goggles.
I looked, they are not, because that's what I would have done. It, but like, no. I want to put like a nice like wraparound safety goggles under my poorly protected, because an errant falchion to the fucking skull that's lights out.
Sorry, that verb.
Errant falchion.
I love this show so much. Thank you for having me on. Show. I refuse to say another word. Errant falchion.
I refuse to say who our next week's guest is in hopes that they actually show up. And with saying that, we hope
Steve McGowan?
We don't spoil it. Jesus Christ.
Fuck that guy though.
I'm gonna go ahead.
If I book you on a Monday, you better do the fucking show next time.
Oh shit! Here we go. You got this. Love you, brother.
No one said that. No one likes Steve McGowan.
I just want to say though that if you want to follow the podcast, you can do so by going to iTunes and searching as Intergalactic Interviews. Also, we're on YouTube and Stitcher and everywhere else where podcasts are found. We love it. Maybe SoundCloud. And if you like the show, leave us a review. We love that, and we love you. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you all next week. Love ya. Mwah.